Today I'm out here interviewing folks on how they came to their God beliefs. And so I was wondering if you would be willing to share that with me.
No problem. It's no problem at all.
What are your beliefs?
I believe that there is a God. I believe there is a heaven. One thing I don't believe in prayer. I don't think prayer works though.
Okay.
But I do believe in God. I do believe in heaven. I do believe in hell and the devil and purgatory and all that stuff. Really?
Okay.
And go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was just going to ask to establish a baseline here. If you could choose to rate how high your confidence that God, heaven, hell, and the devil are true, would you consider low confidence, moderate confidence, or high confidence?
It had to be between high and moderate.
Okay, moderate to high. And what makes you so high in your confidence of the belief?
Really because I'm always been told that there is one, and you just have to believe. And they say good things come to those who wait. And when you wait, and sometimes when good things don't happen, you just kind of start judging. So
Okay, so that's a lot of good information that you shared there. First, you said that part of your confidence comes from that you were told, so you were raised in that belief system.
Yeah, I was always raised God is real.
Okay, and then you have to believe. What do you mean by that?
You have to believe in that there is a higher power, that you have to give yourself into that higher power to understand it and believe it. Okay,
so you have to believe it in order to believe that it's true. So you have to first believe, and then you can come to know that it's true.
Exactly.
Okay, so once you start believing in something, how then do you come to know that it's true?
Once you start believing, because once you give yourself into the grace of God, it just becomes easier to understand, maybe this happens for this reason, this happens for that reason. He has a master plan for you. Okay.
And how do you know what that is?
What the master plan is? You don't. You never know. You never know what the master plan is with him.
Okay, so then how do you know, if you can't know what the plan is, how do you know that there is a plan?
You don't. And that's where coming into believing is. You have to believe there is a plan, and if you believe, it's belief really. If you believe there is a plan and stay faithful and true to it, then you can believe there is him, and he can help you always. He gives you the strength. He'll give you the strength to conquer all.
Okay. So, and you had mentioned earlier that good things come to those who wait, and so it sounds like that's what you're talking about there too. Is that you may not know what the plan is. You may not know even if there is a plan, but you just have to be faithful that there is a plan, and then you are faithful that good things will happen from that.
And faithful that he'll give you the strength to conquer any obstacle he puts in front of your way, so your plan can still go on, because even the obstacles are part of the plan.
That's a really interesting point. I'd like to hear more about that. Do you think that the strength that you have to face obstacles comes from the faith or from you?
I think it's both. I think, God gives people the things he doesn't necessarily give you the actual strength yourself. Okay. He gives you the things around you to make you better yourself. So say, for instance, I'd say God, say you want to get stronger. God will give someone the ability. He'll always set something up to where it's like a domino effect. So maybe he'll do something, but that'll lead to a guy learning about how to make someone stronger. Then he can invent something that'll make someone stronger. And then you can use that thing to make yourself stronger. It's all part of the plan itself, like a domino effect.
How do you know that those things that are there that appear to be set up for you, how do you know that they're set up for you in that way, as opposed to being set up by other people or by coincidence or?
You don't really, but it's really kind of how I was raised that God puts things around you to make you stronger and give you strength to conquer things. So really it's, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes yes, I do, it was just that's just coincidence, But then, you have to just sit back and think for a second, well, maybe this really wouldn't have been possible without God,
Well, is there a way to test or to know for certain whether something was a coincidence or a result of... That's our 5 minutes, but I'm happy to keep chatting if you're... Okay, great. Thank you. I'm really learning a lot from this, CJ. I like the point that you brought about giving the concept of God always being there for you gives you strength. And so I'm just wondering, again, how you are able to know that is God versus a coincidence, or maybe a result of something that somebody else, another person did, and a part of the natural world and not a supernatural event.
I mean, I'm pretty sure some things in life are really just coincidences.
Okay.
I wouldn't doubt that at all. But I do think more so things are really God's work. Him just trying to look out for you and be there for you. And I'm not gonna say I'm not really heavy into religion. I attend church with my mom every now and then, not like consistently always. Right. But I do judge. I judge a lot. Sometimes I do judge him. But then, I have to kind of snap out of it and just believe, really. Okay. It's really just believing. You have to believe and give yourself into him.
What does that do for you, I suppose, is kind of where the question of having to give in or having to believe that helps you to justify your belief.
It makes you feel better. It definitely has someone I'm not gonna say putting the blame on him or anything like that. I would say it definitely is it definitely catches you if you feel like you're falling, if you're just oh man, I can't go on anymore, and you just see these people really feel like they can't go on. But if you have someone like if you don't have any a a physical being there to be oh man, you can get through this, you can always fall back on God, because God's always gonna just be there for you.
Okay, so an idea of someone who's always there for you.
Yeah. It's definitely
Does that have any relation to whether the belief is true that there is a real supernatural being out there, or?
I would think so. I would think that if you believe that someone is there for you, then it definitely helps you do things. Just like if you're a little kid. And
I see CJ. I'm sorry to interrupt again. I see where you're going from believing in that helps to give you strength to face challenges in your life, and somebody always to fall back on the idea there. But I'm interested personally in knowing and believing in things that are true. And so that's why I'm trying to understand where a belief that may give somebody comfort, if it's not true, is that a reliable way to know about the world?
If it gives you comfort, I think yes, because if it makes you feel comfortable and can help you continue to move on, then I think believing in something that may or may not be true is okay.
Okay, can you think of another example of something in your life that you might believe in regardless of whether it's true, and that helps you in your life?
I mean, okay, I maybe can't say personally, but I can say for my little sister, for instance, when she is lonely or stuff, she has an imaginary friend. Okay. All of us know it's not real, but she believes it's real. So when we can't play with her or anything, she always has that imaginary friend, a belief or a fictional friend to play with, that comforts her and makes her happy. So it's kind of like that to me. Okay,
that's a helpful analogy, I think. So I suppose if there's somebody out there who wants to believe in things that are true, or thinks that a good way of living in the world and making decisions about the world is believing in things that are true, they might then say that they're not going to believe in God or heaven or hell or...
Yeah. I mean, do you believe in God?
Well, I'm mostly out here trying to understand, because I'm open to different beliefs and different information. And that's why I enjoy talking to folks about their different beliefs and everything. And every time I talk to somebody, I learn something new about the way people think. Like, you've already brought up a lot of things I hadn't heard from other people before, so that's great. But I suppose it comes down to, for me, like I said, wanting to believe in things that are true. And so how would I be able to know, based on the fact that your belief gives you comfort and strength, whether the claim that a supernatural being exists is true or not.
I mean, we all hear stories about back in biblical times, and we don't know if it's true or not. But then again, you sit in a science class and you hear about how scientists have did all this data and stuff and put it in books and given it out to people to hear. Well, that's kind of like the same thing, you know. We weren't there for that data. We don't know what they did in that lab. We don't know if this is fixed data or not, or anything. If these are just things how
and they do change. They do come out later,
and they change all the time. Exactly,
it
revises all the time. It changes. So you know, if that happens, it's just like that. We haven't seen that data. We don't know if it's true or not. It's just like the book, the good book, the Bible and stuff. So it's just stories that are. I'm not gonna say stories that are made up, but just things that we can't 100% tell if that's what happened or if this is 100% true.
Okay. That's really a great analogy there, or a great example of bringing up science. And we both agree that, you know, scientists will release research, you know, 1 week it feels like, and then the next week they'll change it
they'll be like,
because
it's
based on new information, new data that they learn using the scientific method. In your experience with your faith and your family, the way you grew up, do God beliefs change in the same way? Are they revised based on new information, like science is?
I think they change based on what person it happens to you, because I used to, like I said, I don't believe in prayer. I don't think prayer works. But that's because after you pray for so long, if nothing changes, I know, like I said, good things come to those who wait. But if nothing does change, what you feels like, it might not, in God's eyes, it might not feel like that's not a long time to wait. But in your eyes, you're like, man, it's been like 6 months and this is still going on. But it might just be like, sometimes you're just like, man, I can't anymore. You know, it's not changing.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's not changing fast enough. So you know,
because when you've been waiting for a certain period of time, you might have to say it's not going to happen.
After a while, you're just like, man, it's not going to come.
That's good. So you do change your beliefs then based on your experience and the evidence that you see in the world, and you've decided that prayer is not one of the things that works for you in your faith. But you're still, do you think you're still moderate to high on your belief that God and the devil and heaven and hell are true?
Yeah, I'm pretty,
Is there any evidence that you can think of that might change your belief on that?
Prove that,
like lower it a little bit, maybe to either just moderate or low to moderate? I mean, because you've mentioned that you do take evidence into account and reasonable arguments and things like that. So if there were some evidence, hypothetically speaking, I don't have it in my pocket or anything, that, you know, the universe had natural origins instead of supernatural origins, would you revise your beliefs, your God beliefs, based on that?
If there was actual evidence that it wasn't real, I mean, that's hard. That's a hard one to answer. I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, I've always been raised to believe that there is a higher power and there is the devil in hell. So I can say, I don't know. That's hard. That's a hard one. I really don't know if there was actual evidence to prove that it wasn't real. I guess I'd say it was real. I probably use it as just like a safety net, just like, man, I know that evidence says that God isn't real, but deep down, I'm going to believe that He is real. So I know that I can get this done, and there is a plan for me. You know?
All right. Well, I appreciate your honesty, and thank you so much, CJ.
No problem.
I really learned a lot. Lindsay. Yeah. You know, can I give you my card?